Welcome to this live event. Hosted by Scott Lewis, Rob Flick, Brent Gove, and the legend Gene Frederick, we will be diving into a conversation about the unique potential that is in real estate right now. So grab some coffee, buckle up, here we go!
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the show. Are you ready to quit worrying about your future? It's time to face the fear and take command. Now is the time to level up, retool, engage, and learn. If you're truly serious about leveraging the vehicle of real estate, this weekly show, We Were Built for This Live, is the missing link. If you want to avoid the mistakes most people make, accelerate your results, and shorten the learning curve, get ready and buckle in. These real estate icons have amassed virtual empires, generated passive income, and unlocked financial freedom. Join us here every Saturday morning, and we will deliver impactful action items for real estate leaders that have built successfully under all economic conditions. My name is Scott Lewis. Welcome, Gene Frederick, my co-host Rob Flick, and Brent Gove. We have a combined 110 years of real estate experience. And so I'm going to start with the legend himself, Mr. Gene Frederick. Gene, you must have had a crystal ball because, you exited the franchise world. I believe I heard you say the phrase, "We own Blockbuster," and I just saw Netflix. Tell everybody, what did that mean?
Well, thank you guys for coming in. And, this is real life right now, right? What it meant to me was, since I'd been in the business for over 30 years, when I met with Glenn Sanford and Jason Gessing to discuss the future of real estate, I literally had been with companies that had large offices, physical locations, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agents. The last office I worked at, Scott, before I retired in 2014, had 641 agents in it. One office, one location. But I already knew that the agents were not coming in. I want to go into that a little bit this morning, but I want to put an arm around all the other brokerages that are out there this morning. If there's something that I want to refer to you guys today, if you could write this down for me. And if you guys know Simon Sinek, I know you guys all do. He's one of the top leadership trainers in the industry right now, but he did a little video this week. You can go onto YouTube. You can go right onto YouTube today and pull this short little video up, because Simon Sinek is talking to his employees. And these are not unprecedented times. These are not unprecedented times. What's that mean? Unprecedented means unknown times. Quite honestly, everybody on this call, this is why we want to do this every Saturday, we have been here before. Just so all you brokers right now are going, wait. We have never had 10 million unemployed in 2 weeks. Scott, that's been our last 2 weeks. Ever in the history of the United States, if we had 10 million people unemployed. Well, here's what happened. It's a change. Change happens. The internet made companies change, right? Uber made taxi cabs change, right? When I met Glenn and Jason 5 years ago, I looked at Glenn. I said, Glenn, this is going to change the industry. He goes, what do you mean? I said, it's going to change. I can see that EXP, because agents don't have to come into the office to do business. They just don't. Just like when you said Netflix and Blockbuster, I use that example all the time, because where did Blockbuster go wrong, Scott? They had good management.
They just didn't look forward. They didn't see it coming.
Well, they didn't only see it coming, they actually didn't react to it. I looked them up. In 2004, at their peak, they had over 9,000 stores. They had over 86,000 employees. Think of that. They were huge. Yep. Netflix wasn't even around. But in the late 2008, just read up on it this morning, they didn't believe streaming video was going to work. They just didn't believe streaming video was going to work. They didn't think people would sit at home and pay $8 a month, the monthly subscription, and look up movies. They still believed in their model that people were going to come in and rent videos. Well, guess what? That management decision in 2008, by 2011, guess what happened? Chapter 11. It's sad, but what happened was they didn't react to what was going to happen. Now I called Brent up this week and we talked about it. I said, Brent, let me tell you what's going to happen. He go, what do you mean? I said, this is an abrupt change that just happened. This virus forces everybody in our industry to go, our agents aren't coming in this week. In fact, they can't come in because we just shut the office down and nobody can come in. And they're going to go, well, we might have to react to this. What if this happens again? What if we can't have the office open? Well, guess what? When I met Glenn and Jason 5 years ago, I came to my wife, true story, and I said, I just found Netflix. I found the change agents for real estate agents. She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, we own Blockbusters, right? And just so you know, a couple years ago, one of the major franchises, I'll never forget it, a couple years ago at their national convention, said that EXP is not going to work. Virtual companies can't work. That was when we had about 6,000 agents. Guess what? Now we're over 28,000 agents. And we're the 6th largest real estate company in the whole United States. So it's funny when the Blockbusters of the world don't see you coming, but don't even recognize that it might work. So I want to put my arms around all of the independent brokers out there. I'm going to feel your pain. I know, because if 10 million people just got unemployed the next 2 weeks, and there might be 10 million the next 2 weeks, what do you think our sales are going to do? I mean, I'm just a realist. I know we will come out of this. I know we will, but we're going to have to change. Even EXP is going to have to change a little bit, aren't they, Scott? We're going to have to react. So I'm excited about what's going to happen. I want you guys to always look up that Simon Sinek thing and work it, because he was going, hey, it's not unprecedented to have something happen that makes an industry change. Yeah,
and Gene, we've all owned franchises, all of us, in this group here, and I empathize as well, because I can't imagine being in that position today, right now, looking down the barrel of the unknown, where are we going, and still having all that overhead, and how do you navigate through that? And so we are a beacon, we are a lighthouse for those people. And so if you're looking for an exit strategy or an opportunity, and you're a broker out there, you should definitely look at the virtual model that's continuing to do business right now, the same way we've been doing business since the day I got here, right? And so with that, I'm gonna turn it over to my good friend Rob. And Rob, I know you really impressed upon me, and you've inspired me multiple times over the years, and just the way you've approached these last few weeks has been truly inspirational to me, and I know to many others. And so I'd love to just hear, you were a Navy guy, so I know you learned a lot of this back in the Navy, but what does it look like for you on a daily basis? How your mindset, and how do you get that mindset?
Well, you hang around people that have really big vision, and you feed your mind with positive information every day. I saw that Simon Sinek video that you were talking about, Gene. That was outstanding. He said, it's not we've had this major disease. No, it came on so quick and so fast. That's unusual. But the fact is, many times businesses have had to change, have had to adapt. Individuals have had to adapt. And you have to know that things can change, and they can change on a dime. And we have to be willing to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. And most people remain part of the problem, or are the problem themselves. And we have to always, what I learned from my service time was that we have to always be part of the solution. Whatever shows up, it's not necessarily, it's a problem, it's an opportunity. It's just a situation we have to handle. We have to go over it, around it, under it, blow it up, do something, but we have to adapt and change. And the one thing that impressed upon me years ago, when I was at the top of my game, or at least thought I was, I got and developed cancer and lost my ability to go to work for a couple of years and couldn't work for about 4 years, lost everything. And I had to learn to adapt. The doctor said I had, not that long, and it was scary times, I can tell you. And the big thought that I thought of while I was in the hospital was I want to develop a residual or a passive income stream and I didn't care. Rich or wealthy was never my plan. My plan was to develop $100 a month more than it cost me to live, so I could live full time for whatever time that was left. And I started looking and studying and doing anything I could to find out what would develop passive income or residuals at that point. And I looked at, buying houses, and it took a long time to build up any residual to live on, but it was a plan. It was just a really, really long-term plan. And then I ran across the first company that had vision to be able to start doing, to be able to pay the agents for helping grow the company. That was a really big thing. I liked that idea. And where we could do the things that made sense for us to make money. We could be able to build a business within a business. That's how I always talked about it. We could sell houses, which is one way of making money, very high productivity event. And we also had the ability to attract or recruit agents to the company that were also productive and to be able to earn a piece of what they put together and to earn leverage, to gain leverage. And it was the first time that we could leverage nationally and internationally. That was a big deal. And about 5 years ago, when Gene showed me EXP, I tried to avoid him, pleasantly. I had created a passive income that was, $10,000, $20,000 a month. I'd been living on that for a long time, been retired, if you will. And I thought I was all that. I thought, okay, I don't really need any more. I was good. I was fine. And Gene said to me, he was pleasantly persistent, which I really appreciate him for that, quite frankly, in that he said, Rob, this is not just another real estate company. This is a platform that is going to change the industry, not just in this country, but around the world, especially the way agents are compensated. He said, you've just got to look and understand. And so he showed it to me. And when he got done, I realized, quite frankly, I said, this is so incredible, so amazing what Glenn had put together, that it was going to happen with or without me. And I didn't want to miss that opportunity. I saw this as something that was going to be, again, I think eventually be the largest real estate company worldwide. And we're headed that direction. So what I can say for you during this period of time, and of course, then I said, we have to jump on board. This is unbelievable. And if you'll help me, Gene, then, I knew what he'd done. I respected him. Very few people could have made me take a look at it, probably. But out of my respect for Gene, I said, sure. And so what I would say is that some of us have that residual and passive, and we don't know what's going to happen to us in our lives. We don't know what's going to happen to our health. We don't know what's going to happen to our local business area. We don't know what's going to happen industry-wise. And we have to be willing to adapt and adjust. And the one thing that I wanted to do was develop a passive income stream so that if anything were to happen to me again, or I would still have my basic overhead covered. I would live, I would be fine. And I'm going to tell you now, in these times of change, because there's definitely going to be change, we have to adapt. If you're with EXP or you're not with EXP yet, whether you have an independent broker, whether you've got a great producing team or you're an individual agent, I said, I totally believe that if you just work our small, when I talk about very, very conservative 10 who get 10, if you will work on getting 10 producing agents or agents that have a history of producing and help each one of those 10 get 10 over this period of time when we're under lockdown, explain the system and what's happening, share it with people. People are willing to listen now because a lot of places they can't go out. They're looking for a way to come back. And I can tell you, if you have the opportunity, you definitely have the ability, every one of you, to work on getting 10 who get 10 and set yourself up for when we get through this, and we will. This virus now, it's devastating, yes, but it's not permanent. It's not forever. It's not all ending. It's going to pass. It may be more painful yet coming, but it will pass. And you want to have your army, my term, set and ready to go, your troops, your team, your RevShare team, with at least 10 who have gotten 10, 100 or so that if they have that track record of producing, they're going to produce again. They're going to learn the new ways of how to do it, of how to market, of how to sell. They'll be much more virtual, no question. Virtual, and I'm sure Glenn's going to talk about that a little more today, that business is going virtual more and more. And there'll be more working from home. I think we're going to see a massive change in American industry, American business, because of this, because we're having to learn how to do it virtually, how working from home is going to become the norm, not the difference, the option. It's going to become the norm, I believe. And you want to be prepared and positioned to, when this passes, that you can make everything back quickly and fast. And I believe that's what's going to happen in a very strong way. I think we're going to see here at EXP some of the biggest, most explosive team member growth that we've ever seen, getting them set up and preparing to position themselves to when this ends and comes back and we're back out there doing business as usual or business as different, that you are ready and prepared to take advantage of it. Because when there's adversity, there's also opportunities. And I think you have to look at it as, what's my opportunity? What's our opportunity during this time of adversity? Because some of the biggest development of wealth has happened during adversity and in adverse times. When you just take the time, look at what's out there and determine what you're going to have to do to adapt and to be prepared for what's coming after this. And I've always thought that. I've always been, if there's a room full of poop, the old joke is there's got to be a pony in there somewhere, And I've always felt that way. I've always felt that I've always believed in people bigger than they've believed in themselves many times. I just have that overall expectation of victory. I just know that people can overcome if they set their mind to it. The only way they don't is if they quit trying. And I just want to work with anybody that keeps trying. I love that. I love overcomers and producers.
I love that, Rob. And you've been that, and you're a testament to that. Those aren't just words. We know you live that every single day, and just thank you for your vision and for everyone that you mentor. And I'm going to turn to someone else here, Mr. Brent Gove. Brent, wow. I mean, if there's ever been an Energizer Bunny at EXP and the company and the world of real estate, it is you, my man. And, through any and all adversity, you always continue to lift us up and to stay positive and to look to the future. And we love that about you and love your energy. And I can't wait to hear what you're going to share with the group this morning.
I've been taking notes all morning. I'm getting a ton out of this. I'm like, oh, that was good. This was good. So it is a little after 9 here in Northern California. It's a beautiful day, but I am so excited to be here. And I want to see that Rob Flick, he just spoke. He says, I believe in people. I fight for them. He has busted his tail to help me succeed, as Gene and you have, Scott. I spent 20 plus years at major brokerages. Nice people. Hey, let me know if I can help you. Let me know if I can help you. You guys went to war for me, and the results have been mind-blowing. And so I want to say this. People watching this today, your managers, your broker owners, your sales manager, team leaders telling you this is a terrible idea. It's exactly what the senior executive team did at Blockbuster. They couldn't see the forest through the trees. They're like so embedded in what they're doing, they refused to see it because it was an affront to what they were doing. And so credible people convinced other people that we need to not pay attention to Netflix. Same thing happened with Airbnb. Same thing that happened with Uber. Now Uber's Uber cool. Amazon, it's a rainforest company. Come on, it was really a jungle, largest corporation in the world. I'm telling you, some of you are watching this show. Yeah, but I'm too late. Those guys got here 3-4 years ago. Let me tell you what, 28,000, there's 2 million in North America. We have just over 1% market penetration. We have so much room to grow. There's 400,000 coming in the next 5 to 7 years. We're at 28. Those 300 70 plus thousand people, got to go somewhere. Be a part of this. You can be your own. I never had the opportunity to be a regional owner, you know, and here Gene did. He owned lots of regions, but here's a way to build your own. You can't buy your way in, but you can build your way in. So I want to say this. We are in exciting times. Now, some of you are like, what are you talking about? I'm freaking out. I'm like cutting the cable bill. I'm firing my lawnmower guy. I'm panicking. Here's the deal. You hear everybody say this. They say, the world will never be the same again. What you knew, this is the new norm. And some of you are going, oh my gosh, the world will never be the same. That's a good thing. I have a quote I want to share with everyone today. It's called, the well you drink from is the well you think from. I want you to think about that for a second. Some of you, when they say the world will never be the same, this is the new norm, you're gripped with fear. You're gripped with panic and anxiety. And some of you are gripped with excitement. Who wants it to be the way it used to be anyway? I mean, I was great back here, but I still want to be a better husband, a better dad, a better friend, better in my faith. I want to be better at work. I want to be a better leader at EXP. Kaizen, the Japanese word for constant improvement. I want to be better. And I'm telling you, EXP is amazing. So here's the deal. What is happening right now is I have never been so busy the last 2 weeks. People are calling me going, I get it now. I need to go virtual. I can't even go to my office. We are signing up 38 agent independent firms, 48 independent firms, 80 agent independent firms. We just onboarded an 800 agent independent firm. They're calling, I can't, all day long. I'm on the phone talking to major leaders of companies, franchise owners who are in their 6-month look period, franchise owners who aren't, but just say, I want to know about EXP. Well, here's what we're doing. I'm just sharing with them what we're doing. We're talking to major producers in Alberta, Courtney and Melanie Atkinson. Shout out for the Atkinson Realty up in Alberta. You know, they did 350 transactions last year. This year, they're on track to do over 500 EXP for sale signs all over Alberta. Blanketing, they're like the top dogs. This is completely normal in every state. We just got the #1 RE/MAX agent of a state. I'm not gonna say which state because he hasn't made his formal announcement yet, but like the top dogs, 700 plus sales a year. Coldwell Banker Elite, they're just flocking to this company. I remember, Gene, when we were at Keller Williams, and I felt bad in 2009. I was a team leader, and I recruited 177 agents for Keller Williams, and I felt guilty about it. I'm like, God, they're coming from Century 21, they're coming from RE/MAX, they're coming from Independence, and my regional person looked at me and said, don't you apologize. If this is better for them and their family, if this is better for their kids and their future, don't you apologize for what you're doing. RE/MAX will be okay. Century 21, Berkshire Hathaway, Coldwell Banker, they're owned by $1 billion. They're going to be just fine. But if you can get down at a micro level and change the lives of agents and help them sell more real estate, help them have the tools they need to prosper and to succeed, lower their overhead. Look at the math of EXP. I need you to get with whoever you know. I get in text, we have a huge audience right now. You need to get with somebody, okay, show me the math, show me the numbers. Because you were taught by people that were credible and believable in my world told me this would never work. There's not a chance in the world, and the stock will be worthless in 2 years. Well, I've been here for 3 years and 5 months, and I've watched the stock double. I've watched it triple, and now it pulled back a little bit. The whole stock market is. We're doing just great, actually, with our stock. But here's the deal. That person who was authentic and credible and believable for me was very genuine, very sincere. But they were sincerely wrong because they couldn't see the forest through the trees. They were a regional owner for my old brokerage. So I want to encourage you, look at the math, look at the numbers. It is incredible. What is going on right now? It's totally crazy. So I'm going to end with a few thoughts and give this back to you, Scott. Necessity is the mother of invention. This is your chance to reinvent yourself. What you think is terrible is awesome. I mean, there's people, I mean, look at Zoom. They went from 20 million users 2 weeks ago to 200 million users today. I mean, this is a boon for them. Companies are going to flourish. You can't go into the fetal position. And we're not EXP agents. We didn't miss a beat, man. This thing hit. We're not excited about the pandemic. We're not. But I'll tell you what, our accounting department, fully up and functional. Marketing, booking. Technology, rocking. Brokerage offer support. I talked to a broker 3 times on Friday about different issues on transactions, which was first time I'd done that in 6 months. It just happened to hit right there. But boom, 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 handled. Best brokerage support I've ever had in my life at any company, not even in the same universe. So I'll just end with this 2 thoughts. God closes one door and he opens another. And we would love for you to sincerely check out EXP. The door's wide open. We are open for business. We are booming. We want to help you, support you. There are people like these 3 and myself that will fight for you, that will roll up their sleeves and let's get it on. Let's go. Because if you do well, we do well. It's win-win, one team, one dream. And this is my final word for you. This too will pass. This is not the end of the world. This is the beginning of a new world. It's very exciting. This too will pass. It's going to be 2-3 months. And yeah, there'll be economic fallout, no doubt about it. But we are going to sell here, we'll sell here, we'll sell here, whatever it is, we're going to overcome. So that was my word of encouragement for today's Zoom.
That is beautiful, Brandon. You're right. It will pass, and opportunity is knocking. And as we talk about knocking, we have our first of 2 very, very special guests on the show today. I'm super excited to have Allison Gaddy and Don Hobbs on here today. Headquartered in Austin, Texas. I believe that's where they are today in their studio there. And yep. Of course, Allison Gaddy is she's built a huge real estate company here at EXP, spans over 12 states, coming to the UK soon. And she partnered with the industry influencer, Don Hobbs. Don worked with Jim Rohn for many years. He was the president of Jim's international operation for a long time. He also was co-founder of Hobbs Herder Advertising, the pioneer in realtor branding, a massive industry disruptor. And Don was named Realtor Magazine's top 25 most influential people in real estate. Through more than 3 decades, Don and Allison have been helping real estate agents across the world. We're so excited to have you on the show. Welcome, guys.
Oh my gosh, you guys, so fun to be here.
Thank you.
Here we are amongst these legends. It's awesome to be here. And honestly, I'm totally inspired.
You guys talk about how to be positive, be around leaders like this. And Brent, you just absolutely killed it. This is how we learn. You said you can't buy your way in, you can build your way in. And if these people inspire you, build your way in. This is what we do. This is the culture of EXP. So thanks for having us here.
It's awesome. And we were listening, and of course I'm listening, and Gene, you hit it. And I'm like, dang, he nailed it. And then it goes over to Robbie, and Rob, you just nailed it. And then it comes to Brent. I'm like, what's left to say? And then boom. So it's like, it's awesome to be here, guys. And we're really thrilled. What an honor and what a time, what a time to be bringing a message like this that you've just brought and that we can contribute to. It's been amazing this week. You guys were talking about Brent talking about going into the cloud, and we're fully functional. I did a couple big player tours where I kind of took them in real quickly, and I'd take them into a department and show them. And it's like, I said, where are you today? I talked to the staff member who answered, who was at the table with us, and they tell me where they were. And I'd be like, and how much is your impact? How much has this impacted your world? And how much is that impacting anything that you're doing with our agents? And he said, not at all. And what this show is called We Were Built for This. Guys, we were freaking built for this. And I've been around the industry long enough to have been around the advent of almost every company. And Gene, the ones that you've been part of and Brent's been part of, where it's just been like the evolutionary gain. And there's nothing like this. I told Glenn Sanford one time, this is going to be a movement. And the reason it was a movement, it was ahead of its time. But I'm telling you, we were built for this time.
And now it is a movement.
And now it is a movement. Yeah, exactly. It is, for sure. So what was that? Somebody?
More relevant now, correct?
Oh, yeah. She called me. I was over at corporate headquarters for Keller Williams with Gary Keller and partnering on a project with him. And she called me. We were not in this situation now where we live together and are in this relationship. But at the time she was my friend, and she called to tell me she was leaving. And I was 5 years ago, I was disgusted. I was like, going where to EX what?
We were under 1,000 agents, so he wasn't very impressed with my move, but now look at him.
And honestly, guys, the thing is that I'd never planted my flag anywhere. I've always been neutral. I've always been Switzerland. You know that, Gene. It's like I've always had to be just neutral and say, I can't stand for anything because I've got to have everybody, come to my programs and all that. And it's like, listen, guys, if you don't believe in what we believe, you can go to somebody else's programs. The reality is, this is our future of real estate. This is where it's happening. So I think that there's some things we need to be doing right now. And that one of the things that occurs to me, we just spoke in the Canadian, I laughed the other day. I told somebody, I said, I'm going to be speaking in Canada tomorrow for the Canadian group. And they're all like, you're traveling right now? And I said, no, I'm going into their auditorium and teaching all the Canadians, what they can do during this coronavirus time, right? This is a time when we're doing a lot of training. As you guys know, we've blown open the doors to the training and just said, hey, everybody pour in and just take all of our training because it's so awesome. But I was talking about, what do we do in this time frame? What do we do in this? Rob, you're right. This too will pass. We are going to come out of this. This is not a permanent deal. It's a blip. I mean, honestly, when we look back 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it'll feel like a weird memory. But we're going to be on the other side of this stuff, and we're going to be in a marketplace. And the question is, where are we going to come out? Because for a lot of people that are curling up in fetal position and pulling back, they're going to find themselves maybe not here in the industry any longer. And I think right now we owe it to ourselves to really pour ourselves into it. So we've been talking about what we can do. And one of the things I want everybody to think about is, we feel sometimes like victims, and, life, the old phrase, life doesn't happen to you. That's a victim mentality, right? Life happens. I say life happens through you. Well, who would expect this? I mean, nobody's sitting here going, well, I'm excited about this. It's horrible what's happening. I mean, we're listening to friends that are sick. Rick Jiha was on yesterday on the company meeting. I mean, we know people who have gotten sick. I unfortunately don't know anybody who's passed, but I do know that people are losing people. So this is horrible. Nothing we can say about that. We can't control certain things. We can't control what's going on right now. We can't control the fact that we've been asked to stay in our homes, except to stay in our homes. We can't control a lot of things, but the question really becomes, what can we control? What can we do? Not what can't we do? Well, we can't do. What can we do? And what we can do right now is be human beings that reach out to people and touch the lives of a lot of folks. And, if you're thinking from a real estate perspective, we've got to reach out to our sphere. We've got to reach out to our past clients. We've got to reach out to them, not for the purpose of selling real estate, for the purpose of being a human being and helping them, because they're in their homes living in the fear that they've created. They're watching the news. I've got a friend whose mother watches the news 4 times a day and reads the newspaper from cover to cover. How excited do you think she is about life right now? She's scared to death. And I know that we may not be doing that, but one of our policies, we don't watch the news. It's like, we hear the news, we go do a quick little piece with the CDC and find out what's happening. It's like, that's going to give us what we need. I want the facts, not the drama.
Well, and that's a choice. That's a choice to live in the moment and take control over what you can take in. You want the data, you do stuff like this. I mean, those of you that are listening, you're taking control. You're choosing to spend your time right now listening to people who are leading positive change, right, leading uplifting thoughts, supporting the industry. And so I think living in the moment and making sure that you're not creating fear by hypothecating about what's happening, what's going to happen on the other side. We don't know how long it's going to last. What we do know, and I'm seeing it as this, I'm choosing to take this as an opportunity to create and to build bigger and different. And I really do see it as an opportunity, and that's a choice. And I refuse every once in a while. I look out, I'm like, is this really? And I'm like, nope. Choose to block it out. Go back into the moment and make something awesome happen today that will affect your world tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, isn't that what we have to do right now? And I love the fact that you guys get this show on every Saturday morning. It's like there's lots to listen to and lots of great places to put in. I was in Jim Rohn's company, Scott, you mentioned that. And Jim always talked about stand guard at the door of your mind. Don't let everything in. just be careful with what you let in, right? Being very mindful. And I'm telling you, showing up with you guys the last 3 Saturdays, it's just a boost. It's like, this is a place. And there's substance to what we're doing. I mean, that's the beauty of what's happening, is this isn't rah. This is about, how do we become better realtors? How do we become better people? How do we respond in the situation? You know, nobody gets up on a day and says, I'm going to be a hero today.
Well, I want to talk about the culture of the company again, because I always tell people I'm talking to, no matter what we tell you, no matter what you think, nobody's ever seen a culture of a real estate company like this. And so I'll tell big leaders that, and then they join us and they're always still surprised. And I love that moment. You told me. So we're not just doing this now. Well, we're doing it now on Zoom, you know, to support everybody, to support our leaders, to attract people to the company. We want you to experience what we experience. So, but we haven't changed anything. This is what we do, even on the inside. So,
well, yeah. And part of what I'm saying is, nobody wakes up in the morning saying, let's go be a hero. And yet right now we have a chance every single day we get up to be a hero. Yeah. We have a chance right now, Gene, to touch the lives of people, and the words we say when they're afraid, and we can give them a different perspective and help shape that, to give them a positive thing, to send them a positive note, to encourage, to be texting, but I mean, with our clients, our sphere, our inner circle, the people around us, we need to be constantly reaching out. And what's interesting is the conversations come around to like, how's your business doing? And you're like, well, I mean, you know, it's a sad time in some ways, but real estate's still being sold. Here's the stats. Last week we had listings being taken, sales being made. There are buyers in the market. In fact, you know, we've got people that are looking for a property. We're still in a freaking seller's market to the big extent. We're still in a seller's market. There's properties are still holding their value and whatever. We don't know what's going to happen in the next month, 2 months, 3 months, but what I do know is we're still selling real estate.
Well, and self-education is key. I'll transition because I know that we don't have very long here because we have another special guest.
We do.
But self-education is key. We have a Facebook group called Expert Partners. If you guys join it, we've Dawn and I, when I talk about seeing this as an opportunity, have gone literally to the table. We were developing a mastermind program to help support you in showing up and being positive and affecting change. And it's even more important in this time. So we're going to be launching our Expand Mastermind program. It was going to be paid. It's all free. We just want to build a community with people inside EXP, with outside EXP. And this mastermind is going to be really big. So that's what we're doing. And the real purpose is because a lot of you have a burning fire inside of you. You want to affect change. Maybe you don't know how. We want to help you get that out of you by bringing minds together. Everybody that wants to make change, we want to help support that. So,
well, let's talk about real quickly how we can be a voice, because that's part of what we saw. We thought if we can create a mastermind to teach agents how to have a voice in the community. Right now, we want to be leaders. I mean, leadership has to step in right now. We've got to step up, step in. And this is the time to, Tony Robbins, right? Brent, step up.
Step up.
This is the time to step up. I mean, Brent and we were at a program together, Date with Destiny, a couple months back. But this is a time for the leaders. And what we saw, like I've got a friend of mine who's just coming over. Brent, you met him. He was in your suite the other day in Dallas. But, this guy is, he shot a video, and all of it is about, how we can help people. And he's built a group, he built a Facebook group, and he's brought all these business leaders who are right now suffering big time into a group. And he said, I'm going to help coach. I'm being coached. I'm going to help you get coaching. I'm going to bring stuff to you. So he's amassing a community of not realtors, yes, but mostly business owners in his market, and saying, let me help you through this time. Nobody knows how to handle it, but I'm going to keep getting the best resources I can. And we've got to have those abilities to create, Facebook groups and influence groups and make the calls and be there. We're doing more Facebook Lives. We're doing lots more communication. Guys, everybody on this line, if you're in real estate, get on and start talking and be a positive. Who was it that said, be the beacon, Scott, it was your voice, be that beacon of light. We've got to stand in with light and bring brightness to this situation, because there's a lot of people that are hurting, and we don't know what they're going through in their own homes. We don't know what they're thinking. We don't know who's gone into depression. We don't know what's happening, but we do know if we stay in that mindset, we can't take action. We won't come out of this in the way we want to. And if we keep our minds out of those places, those dark places, and put ourselves in a place where we're exercising and keeping our routines the same, guys, You watch, you just missed the Final Four, right, Gino? You just missed the whole March Madness and all that stuff, right? And I'm saying to Allison 2 nights ago, I can't believe we're not able to watch sports. But you watch guys walking into the arenas and they've got these things on, right? And what do they have those things on for? Because they are listening to something that motivates, that pumps them up. It could be a psychologist. It could be music. It could be something. And what is their routine before game time? Well, guys, we've got to start getting our game time ready and put ourselves in game time mode. And whatever it takes to build into that game time mode, meditation, prayer, I mean, all the things that keep us healthy and mentally wealthy are going to be very, very important.
And I would say if you don't know how to do that, join the movement, join us, join the company, join people that will help you do that. Borrow our faith in you, borrow our light until you can find your own. I mean, I really think that's super important.
Let me close with just something, and we'll give it back to you, Scott, because we've got somebody that's hanging in the wings, and I think we all need to hear from him. He's freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's the reason we're here.
We just heard a video of him the other day that was probably 9 years old, and we were like so blown away about what he was saying back then and how it relates to now.
Yep.
And just amazing. But I really want us to think about this stepping up, Brent, stepping up, step into it. The thing that I know is that people are bigger than they know. And when they get into these moments, sometimes they shrink and forget. And I want to be the reminder to say, hey, guys, you got this. We were built for this. We were built for this. You were built for this. I mean, literally, you were built for this. Every one of us is built for this, but we've got to step up and step into the challenge and put ourselves in a place where we're not at a wall. We're breaking through the freaking wall and we're busting through. Remember when the communist East and West Germany and the wall came down, right? And all that. There's the old. The wall is going to come down. We're breaking it down. And this is what's really happening. And you said it. If you don't have the faith in yourself right now, rely on somebody that's nearby that's got it. I mean, that's got the energy. Like right now, just take our belief. I know what we're capable of. I've been in this personal development field for 40 plus years. I know what we can do. We've got to land. And by the way, I'll leave you with one affirmation. Some of you know this thing that Brent, I think you heard me say it once before. Marianne Williamson had these words, which are probably very appropriate for us right now. She called it our deepest fear. And she said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond all measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be gorgeous, talented, fabulous, and talented? Who am I not to be? I'm a child of God. Our playing small doesn't serve the world. And right now, guys, our playing small doesn't serve the world. We've got to step up and step in. Guys, you're doing such a remarkable job. Thanks for including us.
Yeah.
Thanks for including us.
Thank you.
We love you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Every one of you is a big part of our life. Thank you.
You guys rocked it. Thank you. Great word.
Awesome, guys. Thank you for joining us. Your words were truly inspirational. You've inspired me, and what a powerful duo. You guys are incredible. Thanks for joining us again, and hopefully we'll have you back on another time. So that being said, we are going to bring on our final guest for the day, and I can't be more excited about this. And guys, do me a favor. If you are on our live channel right now, click on the video in the bottom left-hand corner. There's a share button. Click on that share button right now, and let's take this thing viral. Let's take it to the next level, and let's bring on our founder, our CEO. Let's see if I can bring him into the room. Here we go. Technology needs to work.
Woohoo!
There he is.
There it is.
Hey.
All right. So welcome to the show. This is our CEO, founder, captain, visionary. I mean, the guy that started it all. Who could have thought this would have happened 10 years ago when you were starting eXp Realty up there in Washington, Glenn? Probably didn't have this in your sights, but I know your phone has been ringing off the wall from not only just real estate people, but now companies around the world who I think at some point maybe we're laughing at their technology, and I hate to say it, but who's laughing now, right? That the technology is taking over.
Laughing now.
Talking about Bella, which really was Glenn's brainchild. So welcome to our show, Glenn. We're so glad you're here.
Welcome. And a true Canadian. He's in a hockey
true
shirt.
Canadian.
I love it. Go Canada.
You know, I wore this actually. I was thinking about what I should wear, and one of the things I was thinking about is that I've been invited onto a lot of Zoom calls lately, and and as I was thinking about it yesterday, I got invited to a Zoom call. I was looking at my backdrop. I'm going, my backdrop isn't really strong. And if I'm going to do more and more Zoom calls, I need to have a good backdrop. And then this morning, I was just thinking about the fact that Canada just went over 1,000 agents in EXP this week. And at EXPCon, the last one, the Canadian contingent actually gave me their honorary EXP Realty Canada shirt. And so I thought that would be kind of a cool thing to sort of share and show off. It's been, you mentioned, I know Don mentioned coming into the Canadian theater. Deb Stevens has been literally calling the biggest and brightest and most influential coaches in the real estate industry. And so, we had Tom Hopkins in there this week. Obviously, Don Hobbs is in there this week. I think there's a whole list of folks that she's bringing in, just the Canadian Auditorium. And that's over and above all the other training that's going on that Dave and Scott and all the other folks have been sort of pulling together to build out sort of this rock star group of trainers. And, and it's all free. So anybody can come in. We've opened up the campus. We've said, hey, our world is your world, and so it's really been amazing to sort of see all this stuff come together. But as somebody said, what's happening in 2020 was not on my vision board. It wasn't on my vision board. It wasn't on anybody's vision board. It wasn't anything that I certainly thought was a potential, even when we went this way. I've been really sort of geared toward online communities literally since I was like 12 years old. So I was like yay tall, and my dad got his first Apple II computer. You can maybe see potential. Actually, I've got an Apple poster somewhere around here. Anyway, I got my first Apple II when I was 12, 13 years old, and I dialed into my first online service, and I saw this sort of community. And this is back in the late 70s. And I just got intrigued with the whole idea that you could actually do stuff and connect with people. And so, EXP, in addition to being built for this, we were built for connection. We're built for community. We're built for sustainability. We're built for, all kinds of things that are pretty cool. In fact, I've got my coffee mug with all all the EXP core values on there. And a lot of the core values, we talk about community, we talk about service, we talk about sustainability, and those we think about as our outward values, how we show up in the world as individuals and as others. And then we talk about, how do we work in world, and then it's collaboration, transparency, integrity, innovation, agile, and fun. And we've got that down. I mean, it's so, we've got speedboats and soccer fields. We literally had a soccer tournament this last week in EXP world, where literally we actually had groups of agents, brokers, and staff literally join teams. We had board of directors members, the whole 9 yards. We had them join teams, and they literally went down and actually competed in a full-on tournament and in our world. And so when we didn't miss a beat, and obviously, I want to be super empathetic. This is not a good thing going on out there. And it's affecting people. It's affecting people I know, and so it's an impactful thing. But there are places to stay connected. Obviously, social media has played a huge role in helping people stay connected. Just imagine if this was going on and social media didn't exist. So just imagine if we couldn't all do what we're doing here on Zoom, which if you go back, 15 years ago, maybe you could have pulled together a Skype and pulled a few people together, but you couldn't have shared it with thousands of people simultaneously at the same time. Only television production studios had those capabilities. And yet, all this stuff has been democratized in a way that everybody has a voice, everybody can build a network, everybody can contribute to people's lives in a meaningful way, and not have to physically be in the same place, which right now, obviously, we can't do in most of the country and shouldn't do for health reasons. And so, we've got all these tools. One of the things, and what Don was talking about was the idea there's a bunch of people saying that there's a whole bunch of things you can't do. And if we live in an infinite world, if there's a finite number of things that you can't do, how many things are left to do? Well, infinity minus any finite number is infinity. So the reality is that there's always potential, there's always opportunity, and so super, and so I think one of the things I've had a process over the years where I've had to just get real with where I'm at, what's going on, sort of own it, own the situation, and then once you own it, that then opens up the opportunity to actually do something with it. If you live in denial of what's going on, then it blocks you from the opportunities that are right in front of your eyes. And so that's sort of the way that I've sort of always sort of thought about things. And of course, I don't always think that way. That's definitely not me. But from time to time, I figure out that, I have blocked myself by pretending something that isn't really so. And so as a result, I'm not able to sort of embrace whatever opportunity is in front of me. And so that's just been sort of the way that I kind of operate. But there's so many things going on at EXP. Of course, the other thing is we were fortunate enough, and I always said, even before we started EXP, I loved the whole virtual world concept. I started an online service in the mid-90s called Interactive Cafe, and we were the largest online service actually in Western Canada. So we were kind of like an AOL of sorts. And I'd worked for AOL at one point, and I'd run some bulletin boards and some different things over the years. But I saw, what was going on, and with the virtual reality and where things were going, and I was thinking it'd be really cool to own a company that was in that space, because it's all about community. At the time, there was Second Life, and there were some other things, and a lot of them were cheesy. They didn't really make a lot of sense for the way I was looking at the world. But when we launched EXP, we said, how do we build community collaboration and all that without having physical bricks and mortar offices? And so we went about, we said, well, first of all, obviously Zoom's great, but you're reading all the stories about people who are still suffering from social isolation, not being connected to their managers or people that they work with. And it's really a one-way medium. Here we're doing this sort of one-way push out really to Facebook, but the engagement of actually being able to collaborate with all the other people that might want to engage with us in real time is somewhat limited. We'll go back, we'll read the comments, we'll comment on a few, we'll like a few, we'll send a couple private messages to some people, but it's not real-time engagement with the community. It's real-time information. It's beneficial, but what we recognized in the early days when we were thinking about building a real estate brokerage without bricks and mortars, we needed a place to actually call home if we weren't actually going to an office. And so that's what we were really trying to sort of think about. And we said a virtual world for business would make a heck of a lot of sense. So we started with one. They unfortunately went out of business. We went with another. They unfortunately couldn't scale with us. We went to another. Google Chrome didn't support Flash plugins anymore. And then we went to the last one, which actually built on the biggest gaming engine that's out there. It actually runs the same platform as Fortnite and Pokemon Go and a bunch of other stuff. But we literally are built on a massive multiplayer online gaming platform that literally supports right now millions of people currently playing games in Fortnite and all these other places. And we've literally built an office on the same technology, which sort of creates this really cool community. We bought that company in 2018 in November. It's called Virbela. And since I got back from Australia, because I was traveling, and literally 2 days before we got back, actually about 4 or 5 days before we got back, I'm going to Debbie. I'm going, get us home early. I don't know what's going to happen, but we were scheduled to come back on the 16th, and we were actually in Brisbane, Australia, and Tom Hanks had literally got, he and Rita, got diagnosed with coronavirus, and that was in the same state as we were in Australia, and we're like going, okay, we need to get out of town quick, and then literally, I think I'd mentioned that to Debbie, and then Trump announced no flights in from Europe, and we're like, oh, okay, we really got to get out of town now. And but we made it out, and it was all worked out just fine. We got home, but this was 3 Saturdays ago. So 3 Saturdays ago, flew back, and literally I jumped in with our Virbela team, and I've been working with them full time. In fact, anybody who's watching this, you can use Virbela for free. So you can go to Virbela.com. You can download the software. You can come in. We've even got people in there over the weekend, but it's this free open campus. We actually took the demo world, which we were using, and about a year ago, we rebranded it the Open Campus. We really wanted to be open to anybody to use for sort of engagement and collaboration and community. And as you might imagine, the usage just went through the roof. In the last month, 2 months, I mean, we went from it's up like 4,000% in a month. So just in 1 month, and even a month ago, we were still seeing coronavirus stuff going on. So it's up like 4,000%. We've got people coming out the wazoo using the platform. We've got real estate teams, offices, companies from every industry. We got nonprofits, we got educational institutions, we got all kinds of folks that are going and getting their own private team suites. So that's actually one of our commercial offerings over there. We had a networking event last night at 4 on the Virbela Open Campus where we would call it a virtual happy hour. And it was really cool to be engaging with a bunch of these companies. We had a company called Influence Ecology was there. We had another coaching company. We had educational institutions. We were talking just yesterday with a university in a state in the South. I won't say that any of you guys have spent any time there or not, but or that some of you might still live there. But there's a university that might have a lot of students that might be in Texas that is actually literally thinking about moving their entire not their entire, but at least their business school and some of the other parts of the organization over to their own private campus. We already got Stanford, Davenport University, and a bunch of universities using it. They're scaling their operations up like crazy. And what I heard, and one of the professors actually that has been teaching a class in the Virbela campus literally said that he's got more engagement. His students love it. They actually like it better than actually going to physical class. And obviously they can't go to physical class, and it blows Zoom away like nothing they've ever seen. And so they're like going, and we had 2 of the kids actually literally came in with VR headsets. So when you come in with the VR headset, you can actually see hands move and people move around. So sitting seeing like really kind of weird movements of people because they literally have their VR headset on. So it was really
Glenn,
cool.
let me ask you a question. I got to ask you a question. Why is this a big deal to the EXP agents and brokers? Why you're talking about, and there's a lot of guests watching, why are all the EXP agents and brokers so excited about Virbela exploding, becoming super profitable? Why is that a big deal to anybody looking at EXP?
Yeah, so one of the other cool things about Virbela, obviously it powers the EXP world, but EXP World Holdings, which is really EXP Realty, it's really the parent company. It owns Virbela. So all of this new business comes in, and all of our agents, since 2014, every agent in EXP's who's productive has become a shareholder, and as a result, the value of the company over time is not just a real estate company, which obviously we can, we say we're built for this, and you guys actually coined the phrase on this particular program here 3 weeks ago. But we were built for this, but we literally were. I mean, every expense in EXP is 100% variable. There's not a single real estate brokerage really in the country, even some that now are coining the term they're cloud-based. They all have physical offices. Even for corporate staff, they don't run entirely in the cloud. So they all have fixed expenses that they can't get out of. Now, maybe they might not be able to pay the bills, but because of Virbela, we literally can scale up, scale down, and I know Gene had mentioned early on, we're over 28,000 agents. At the beginning of this year, we were 25,000 plus agents. We've grown net 3,000 agents in February. Coronavirus was starting to be a deal. March was one of our biggest growth months because we're still standing. We've got all the infrastructure in place. We can support agents. We can plug them in. We can love on them in a way that is really we were built for doing that. And so the Virbela platform we own, and we're scaling up, and we're adding, enterprise clients and a bunch of other stuff, and it's part of the EXP ecosystem, and what we've and Gene's of course a board member, so he gets to hear some stuff I can't talk about here on this call, but it's pretty exciting.
What's cool, Glenn, is we got 28,000 of us that are promoting the home warranty company, the title company, Silverline Title, 360 Technology. I know you want to mention Virbela. 28,000 people telling people they know, check out Virbela for your company. Could be any kind of a company. And when it is Virbela blows up, and the home warranty and Silverline Title and all the ancillary companies at all my prior brokerages, it just benefited the franchise owners. They were marketing agreements for them. Now it benefits eXp World Holdings, which we all are shareholders in. So one team, one dream, we all benefit. That rising tide, rising all ships. Thank you, Glenn Sanford, for envisioning this beautiful, beautiful model. Thank you.
And you've heard me say this in the past at various events and meetings. I literally never wanted to have a conflict of interest with my agents, or with our agents. And what I mean by that is I don't own anything outside of EXP that I'm growing. So I don't own any interests, and I'm not even, I've obviously got a good share interest in EXP, but I'm 100% invested in the success of EXP. If EXP goes down, I go down. And there is no safety net for me, but I'm not worried about it, because we were built to literally sustain in a downturn. And the types of things, I didn't really think of Virbela as being a recession-proof business. You hear that term, recession-proof. Normally it's beer and cigarettes, right? But Virbela is like our kind of our recession-proof business, and it's growing like crazy.
Glenn, I want to thank you so much for joining us. And before you leave, I just want to ask you one quick question, and then we're going to wrap up. So. And I know you probably get, I'm not going to put you on the spot too much, so don't worry, but I am going to put you on the spot a little bit, because I know a lot of our audience wants to hear where you think all of this is going. And, and I love the way you differentiated between what we're doing right now, which is more of a one-way communication, versus what happens in the world that we actually do business in every day through Virbela. I thought that was awesome. So the goal has to be to get everybody outside our world in our world, right? And then we all function in one place and cohabitate there and do business every day. And so was that ever a vision for you in the very beginning? Is it becoming your vision? And where do you see that going now that that's been expanded and becoming more and more relevant?
Yeah, well, one, we've always had sort of the vision of having a really open community for agents and brokers, no matter whether they're part of EXP or not. And so that was part of the reason why Brad Anderson joined us a number of years ago. He had joined us from, he had built Active Rain University and Zillow Academy, and so we launched the RE Tech Campus. But unfortunately, the technology wasn't quite, with the technology we were using at the time, wasn't quite there to sort of provide that. Because of the what's going on right now, we've opened up the virtual training centers and the whole 9 yards, so people can come in and engage and collaborate, have conversations, meet people, network, and it doesn't matter again what brand you're affiliated with. You can come in and actually use the platform, and I'm all about open networks, open communities, platforms. EXP's, we've referred to it as the platform for real estate, meaning that we really want to be the place that you can build whatever type of business on top of that you want to build. And so that's really been always the sort of fundamental approach. I ran a large number of teams. I ran six teams at one point in my personal career. And I thought of the previous brokerage as a platform, but I saw all the flaws that platform represented for me to try to scale my business. And so we said, how can we make this very, very fair, streamlined, and easy for people to plug into? And how do we open this community up? And of course, it's a little bit of a give take. We still have to deal with the fact that people will want to push back and go, oh, we don't want everybody in here or this or that. But I've always been open. So, so community collaboration, transparency, and all those things have always been in my DNA, because I believe that everything will be democratized, including the underlying pinnings of residential real estate. It's the Uberization, it's the Netflix culture, it's the YouTube lives, it's the Facebooks, it's the everything gets democratized, and you're either empowering democratization or you're going to be basically sort of going, probably won't be relevant in the future.
Swimming upstream, maybe, right?
Yep.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been our pleasure to have you here. Gene, Rob, Brent, thank you as always for being my host. Again, thanks for all of our guests here, and Allison and Don, really appreciate you guys being here today. Before we go real quick, I want to thank our production team, John Rozak, Rob Litzinger, and Quinn Myers-Keller. They did an incredible job putting this together. And always a huge thank you for the man behind the scenes, always making this possible, Mr. James Stroop. And again, thank you all. Have a blessed week. Go out and have a fantastic day, and peace out.